One of the things that you guys know me for is all the water changes that I do. Because I have so many tanks, because I've got like 30 systems, I'm doing water changes quite frequently. Cichlids, other fish that are big eaters, I'm doing a lot of water changes. Now, and I'm actually doing some water changes right now, as you can see behind me there in the Malawi tank, and then I'm gonna do the Tanganyika tank as well. So one of the tanks that kind of gets neglected, and there's a reason why it gets neglected, is the planted tank behind me here. So plants, for those of you that don't know, plants are kind of like nature's filter. They will take a lot of the organics in the water and consume them for their own growth. So like when the water goes through the nitrogen cycle from the fish waste, you're left over with nitrates. That's essentially fertilizer for the plants, and the plants suck it up and they grow larger through, photosynthesis, etc. And you actually have clearer water by having plants. That's why plants are very popular with a lot of fish keepers. They really help to not only aid in keeping the water clean, but also keeping the fish happy by having hiding spots, etc. Now, obviously, with some tanks, you can't have plants because you've got big cichlids that tear it up, etc. But in this case, I have my planted tank, and it looks pretty bad. To be honest with you, it's been neglected. I haven't done much in several weeks. I haven't trimmed any plants. I haven't done a whole lot. I've got some algae in there. So I've got to go in there and clean it up. I am a little bit embarrassed to show you guys what this thing looks like. But, what the heck, you guys know I'm pretty transparent. I want to show you exactly what happens in my fish life. So you guys are going to see kind of a before and after. Now, one thing about plants, and one of the reasons why they need to be trimmed, is they grow. Just like your lawn will grow, your house plants will grow. Obviously, your aquarium plants will grow. And mine grow very quickly because I do have CO2 in the system, and because they have lots of nutrients from my aquarium co-op Easy Green, plus the fish waste, plus the substrate that I'm using, and the CO2 and the highlighting. So it's kind of a perfect storm for having plants go wild. So I'm gonna have to go in and do some trimming. Now, I'm not gonna do like a time lapse or anything and show you everything that I'm doing as far as trimming the plants and doing the water changes. You've seen a lot of videos like that, but I am gonna share with you just kind of what I'm doing. So obviously I'm gonna drain the water down. One of the ways that I drain water, and I've talked about this before in many other videos when it comes to water changes, is I like to use pumps. I don't like to, there you can see pumps. So this water is getting pumped out right now, right out into, right outside. So that's just a real easy way to remove water from the tank without having to carry any buckets, etc. So what I'll do is I'll drain the water down, and once the water is drained, obviously making sure that the systems are shut off first so nothing's running, no pumps are running. And then I'm gonna go through and do some trimming. So I've got the little aquascaping, make sure I don't poke my eye out, these little aquascaping scissors where you can cut and trim plants. And then I've got my aquascaping tweezers. So kind of these long, I mean, they're not for, I guess they are for aquascaping. Originally they were probably for like surgery or stuff like that. But anyway, I got my little aquascaping tweezer. So I'll go through, trim some plants, and some of the plants I might kind of replant, and some of them I'll probably just throw in the pond or something and let the fish eat it. So anyway, when you come back, the tank is going to be clean. Well, here is some more shots of the tank. It just looks terrible. I really am embarrassed to show you guys that I've let it get to this point. But again, I want to be transparent and let you know kind of what I do and what I don't do. So here you can see a lot of dead leaves, a lot of algae. There's a lot of light being blocked from the duckweed that's growing in there. Here you can see a terrible algae spot that I've been staring at for a month and haven't touched it. You can see all the dying leaves there, all the decaying Java moss. There's a little bit of blackbeard algae growing on some of the dead plants. You can see all the algae on the glass, which I really don't have an excuse for, since I do have the mag floats with the scraper on there. But again, just been focused on other things and wasn't really spending a lot of attention on this. And when it gets away rather quickly, especially when you have plants with big leaves and they die off like this. So definitely needs some attention. Here you can see all the duckweed, and I like duckweed. I actually like a lot of it because I use it to feed some of my other fish. My mbuna will eat it, my goldfish, etc. will eat it. But obviously I don't want a bunch of it in this tank. This is the overflow box that flows into the sump. trick that I do is I cover it with a screen and then I put some moss on there to kind of keep things from going down there, fish, etc. But obviously this is overgrown and not looking great either. And here you can see all the trimmings. These are a bunch of leaves that I cut off, Aponogeton, Java fern, etc. So a big chunk of stuff and some algae. And just like that, I wish it was just like that. There was a lot of trimming involved, but I'm done. The water's still a little bit cloudy because I just refilled, but you can see that it's a lot brighter. It's a lot brighter, obviously, because the glass is cleaner, but it's a lot brighter because a lot of the leaves and the duckweed that were covering the surface of the tank are now gone. They're cut back, so everything is brighter, greener. I got rid of most of the dying leaves. Pretty much all the Aponogeton got cut back. A bunch of the Java fern got cut back, as you saw. The crypts are doing well. They're fine. Some of the other plants I had to trim back a little bit. Some of the red plant there in the back, it was kind of not doing well at the top. The base was doing fine. The swords are doing pretty well, but it looks a lot better now. Well, there you have it. It's all done. What a difference. I guess I was a little bit lazy and just kind of let it go for several weeks without any trimming or cleaning. Now I did do a little bit of water changes in between, and of course I've cleaned the filter pad in the sump, but I didn't do any trimming or anything like algae removal, anything like that. So anyway, it looks 10 times better. Now for those of you that are worried about all the foliage that I cut back, and I cut back a lot of leaves, especially that Aponogeton, it will grow back even quicker now. So what happens is when leaves start to get old and they start to get brown or get holes in them and start to die off, the plant kind of slows down its growth because it's kind of wasting its energy sending life to those dying leaves. So if you cut those leaves off, then all the nutrients and all of its energy is going to growth of new leaves. So I've done this many times. When you cut back, it ends up growing much, much better. And it's gonna look great. So anyway, just a quick little video. Wanted to share with you kind of the disaster that I had with this planted tank, and that it is looking a lot better now. And I guess that's about it. The discus are a little bit shy right now, and that kind of happens when I do a water change. But one thing that I will share about these discus, and maybe I'll show it in another video, they're not like some people's discus where they're shy all the time. These ones will actually eat out of my hand. So usually every morning when I come and feed, they will swim to the top corner of the tank and they'll literally eat food right out of my hand. So that's kind of neat, but they're not doing it right now because I just disrupted their tank and changed a bunch of water. So anyway, if you like this video or if you don't like it, either way, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Either way, it helps me out. Don't forget to sub to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.